Hello everyone, and it's Trans Awareness Week Day 6. As we mentioned last episode yesterday, we're on a trip right now, so we weren't sure we were going to be able to film this, but here we are, filming it, albeit in not the best setup, very iffy lighting and stuff like that, but it's what we have right now. Also, no physical book, unfortunately, for the same reasons. Today, we're talking about something a little bit different, because this is actually not the story of a trans person, but it's a story that involves trans people and talks about transness from the Japanese perspective in general. And the reason we picked this work is because it's Trans Awareness Week. So we really wanted to give more direct accounts from Japanese authors about the trans scene in Japan, which is obviously something that trans people in the West might not know that much about. So today we're looking at Otokonoko Doushi Renai Chu by Fumiko Fumi and Ooshima Kaoru. And first off, Fumiko Fumi has actually written another manga that is a bit more famous than this one. It's called Bokura no Hentai, and it's about two cross-dressing boys and one closeted trans girl, and they meet up and talk about themselves, and they go through various pretty traumatic experiences, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to talk about this on this one, because it gets pretty rough and arguably a bit exploitative, and felt like it might not be the best pick for something like this. But this work, as we just mentioned, is also done with Ooshima Kaoru. Now, who is Ooshima Kaoru? Ooshima Kaoru is a former gay porn star, or a Japanese adult video actor. JAV is the general short form for Japanese pornography. And he is also the man that became sort of the poster boy for the Otokonoko scene. Now, we talked about Otokonoko back in day 2 when we talked about Love Me For Who I Am, about how that is a fetish term that involves cross-dressing men, trans women, and just the general sort of sexy idea of gender nonconformity from bodies that are assigned male at birth, be they, as we mentioned, cis men or FTM, MTF, trans women, or MTX, non-binary folks. And this manga is a sort of short form chronology of Ooshima Kaoru's life. And you might first think that, oh, well, isn't that just a story of a gay man then? A gay cis man who cross-dresses. Well, that's who he is, yes. But because he was there from the start of the Otokonoko scene and has been a part of it even after he stopped doing porn, a lot of the people he met, a lot of people that helped him, perform better in the Otokonoko scene were trans women. And it also involves his ex-lover. They were still dating at the time, although they don't use the real name of the partner in the book itself. And I should mention that Ooshima Kaoru is also a stage name. She actually comes out as a trans woman in the story, or in the retelling story. It's a true story. And it's really interesting to just get the perspective of, a man within this field meeting another man in that field and learning that, oh, my partner's a trans woman, and it not being a source of like conflict or a reason for him to feel disgusted or anything like that. No, he is fully supportive of this because he has been, involved with trans people for a long time. In addition to this, there's other trans people. In fact, and I guess this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's a true story, so this is history. But his ex-lover, or I should say ex-girlfriend, her brother comes out as a trans man as well, which was just this really cute little coincidence that they go into, and they go to like a danzo bar and ask for like suggestions for how he can appear, boyish more, and it's just really sweet. Now, we should mention, of course, that because this is the story of a porn star or a former porn star, the book is, not safe for work. It deals with some erotic elements. I believe that's also part of why Ooshima picked Fumiko Fumi for this, because they have done previous cross-dressing and trans ero manga, so it made perfect sense to go to them for this particular book. Now, Otokonoko Doushi Renai Chu has not been picked up for localization anywhere from what we know, actually. But it's one of those that we really hope people will ask to see published, because on top of things like The Bride Was a Boy and other autobiographical accounts becoming more popular, including the Confessions of a Male Porn Star, I think is the name, which is actually another manga about a straight porn star. Like the fact that these are coming out now and doing pretty well leaves me hopeful that we can get more of these, because they are such an important insight into queer culture outside of the Anglosphere, which is normally all we get. Like, yeah, we learn queer history from the US, from the UK, and then nothing else. Like, we're from Sweden, and we know more about American and British queer history than we do Swedish queer history. And not because we haven't tried learning about it, but because that's just how much US and UK stuff seeps into us, So that's also part of why we like learning about other countries and other cultures' queer scenes and queer history. It's just very important to us. And this book was one such book. It's a pretty short book. It's only 4 or 5 chapters. But we do definitely recommend it. And as always, do ask, Seven Seas, Yen Press, Viz Media, Square Enix, Kodansha, whatever publisher you want to ask about it. Ask them to localize it, and hopefully they will. And I guess that's our suggestion for day 6. Tomorrow's the last day of Trans Awareness Week, but as we said yesterday, that doesn't mean we won't be doing more things like this in the future. It just means that we won't be doing them daily. So we will see you tomorrow. Take care. You're gonna see me click the stop recording button because we're not at home, so we're not going to be editing this.